I did the eyeshadow. Today I'm going to be talking about menstrual cups, and I'm going to talk about them very openly because I think it sucks that people are made to feel weird about something that is such a big part of our lives. I mean, the lining of my uterus is literally falling out of my body, and you expect me not to want to talk about that? So if that's gonna freak you out, then don't watch this video, but in my experience, people are kind of desperate to have this conversation and are really grateful for an opportunity to do that, and if I can provide that, then I'm going to. So I asked for questions about my menstrual cup, and you definitely provided, so let's get started. This is my menstrual cup. It's a Model 1 cup by Lunette. Most menstrual cups come in at least two sizes, a smaller one for people who haven't given birth, who have a lighter flow, who have not had the kind of sex that involves penetration with a phallic object, and then a bigger one for people who have given birth, who have a heavier flow, etc. The Model 1 is Lunette's smaller cup, so this is what it looks like in reference to my head as far as sizing goes. There are a lot of different menstrual cup brands. I chose Lunette just because the differences between the brands seem sort of negligible to me and my needs, and Lunette was having free shipping within the US when I bought mine. But what works for me may not work for you, so definitely do your research before buying one. Another thing about Lunette is that their cups come in colors. I got really excited about that and I got this pinky maroon color, but keep in mind that the color does mean that this contains like dyes and maybe some chemicals that you might not want inside your body. It's totally safe to use, but it's a personal choice. If that bothers you, don't get this one. Menstrual cups do stain over time as you use them more, and I think this color may have masked that a little bit. I just chose the color because I thought it was fun, but if you think the stains are going to bother you, maybe try a colored one. So now that I've talked about choosing a menstrual cup, let's talk about using a menstrual cup. All of the menstrual cups that I've seen are made with medical grade silicone, no latex. Anyway, because it's silicone, it is very, very pliable. I had a question about whether menstrual cups are painful. For me, it has never been, just because it is so pliable and kind of molds to your body. I know some people do experience pain when they first start using tampons, and if that's your situation, then this may be a little uncomfortable. I don't know your body. To insert it, you pinch it like this and then you fold it again so that it looks like this. You're gonna have to figure out what works for you as far as angles go. Try standing up or sitting down, but either way, you insert it into the vaginal canal and then you let go with these fingers so that it pops open, and then it will form a suction with your vaginal wall. It's supposed to sit really low in the vagina. This is supposed to stick out. A lot of people just cut this part off because it really bothers them, and that's totally safe to do. It just doesn't bother me very much, so I just leave it. A lot of people had questions about the suction and if it ever doesn't form and if the cup leaks at all. The only time it ever does that for me is when I have not inserted it correctly. Sometimes I don't insert it far enough before letting go and it's sort of hanging out, and rather than pull it out and reinsert it like I probably should, I just sort of like push it up, and when I do that I kind of wiggle it up, and that movement usually breaks the suction. Even if it doesn't lose suction immediately, it is much more likely to just break suction during the day, just like walking around. So basically, don't do that. It's not good. In my experience, when I insert it correctly, it will not leak and it will stay put. So removing it. You may think you just kind of pull on this, and that is not the case. Like I said, most people just cut that off and you're not supposed to pull it. Rather, you need to kind of reach up in there and pinch the base. This will usually break the suction, but if it doesn't, you have to reach a finger up there and just kind of press until you feel the suction break. Once the suction's broken, you pinch it at the base and pull it out slowly, maybe wiggling it back and forth if that helps, and then empty it into the toilet. Someone asked if it's messy using a menstrual cup, and frankly, yeah, a bit. Menstrual fluid is not like water. It's thicker than that, and some of it will probably stick in the cup, and yeah, you're gonna get blood on your fingers. If that just totally freaks you out, then that's totally valid, and this may not be the method for you. But I will say that it totally freaked me out at first too. But what really bothered me was how much it bothered me. This is my body. It's not dirty. This is something totally natural that happens to a lot of people. So why are we so collectively squeamish about it? I really wanted to get over that, and this really helped. I am much more familiar with my own body and much more comfortable with it. So that was my little body positivity spiel. Now back to the information. So many questions about cleaning the menstrual cup. Ideally, you would wash it with a mild fragrance-free soap every time you empty it. Some menstrual cup companies will sell soap that you can use with their cup, but you don't really have to use that. I just use the Vanacream cleansing bar and it works perfectly fine. Now, washing it every time you empty it doesn't always happen. If I'm using a public bathroom, I'm not about to walk out of the stall with my bloody cup and start washing it in the sink. So in those situations, it's perfectly fine to just wipe it out with some toilet paper and reinsert it. I wash mine at least twice every day, in the morning when I wake up and in the evening in the shower. Someone asked why I keep mine in the shower. That's just because I empty it and I clean it in the shower, and if I pull it out one day and it's empty because my period's over, I'll just wash it and stick it back on the shelf. The other thing you want to do to clean your menstrual cup is to boil it in plain water between your periods. Boil it for between 3 to 10 minutes. It will not melt, don't worry. I usually wait until the day before my period starts just because that way I know it's clean. Sometimes I'll boil it in the middle of my period, but that doesn't always happen just because if I'm not wearing my cup, what's gonna catch all the blood? I got some questions about how often you need to empty it. You can wear most menstrual cups for up to 12 hours. The reason you can't wear tampons for that long is because tampons sit right against your cervix and they're just holding that bacteria there, and if they're there for too long, there's a risk of toxic shock syndrome, which can be fatal, as anyone who wears tampons probably knows. But because the menstrual cup sits so low in your vagina, it's nowhere near the cervix, so there is no risk of TSS. You shouldn't wear it more than 12 hours just because it's not healthy to plug up your vagina for that long. It does need to breathe, even just for the time it takes you to wash this out. So I empty my cup about 20 minutes after I wake up, just to give gravity the chance to kind of make everything go down into the cup, once in the afternoon and then again at night in the shower. If you have a heavier flow, you may need to empty this more often, but I have never heard of one of these overflowing. This may not look like it holds very much, but you will probably be surprised by how little you actually bleed when it's not being spread out over a giant pad or absorbed into a stick of cotton. Lastly, do you have to replace it? A lot of people keep their menstrual cups for like 10 to 15 years. It is recommended that you replace it every 1 or 2 years. I've been using mine for about 1.5 years, 2 years maybe. I haven't noticed any signs of deterioration, so I am probably just going to keep using it for like another year and then replace it. One of these costs about $40, and that may seem like a lot, but when you think about how much you're spending on pads and tampons every month, these are so cost effective. I have reduced so much waste using these. I no longer throw away like 40 hunks of cotton and little balled up pieces of plastic every month now. And I just feel better about my body and about my period. I have a much healthier relationship with both of those now. And if for no other reason, I love the menstrual cup because of that. I will put links to more information about the menstrual cup in the description. If you're interested, please check it out, and I'll see you next time. Bye!